Recording in progress.
Good day, fellow rockers and moshers. Welcome to the Metal Connection, the connection to all things metal. I'm J-Dub, and I'm here just going to be doing a vinyl update. I think I got 15, something like that. So, yeah, pretty decent vinyl update, pretty cool. But I'm jamming some Andy Anderson's Tribe. Actually, I didn't even have it posted there. Anyway, I should have, but anyway. Anyway, I'll show that one next day update I do. I just got it today, so I wanted to jam it, so that's why I'm playing that. But interesting enough that I am starting out with Andy Anderson because I'm just going to move my mouse here. Actually, I might have to move it. Anyway, yeah, interesting enough, Andy Anderson is the first band I'm going to show has Andy Anderson in it. So Andy Anderson was in a 80s punk band called Attitude Adjustment. And then he later did this side project that we're listening to now that I'm playing to. But anyway, what's actually going on here with this one, 2-Bit Thief, is this is like 1991 hard rock. So this is kind of like the vein of like a Dangerous Toys or Guns N' Roses, something like that. So if you like Guns N' Roses, Dangerous Toys, that sort of 90s, late 80s, 90s arena hard rock sound, yeah, kind of just exactly kind of what it sounds like there, like Dangerous Toys, something like that. So if you do like that, check out 2-Bit Thief. They went totally under the radar. They did have a couple, two or three albums, but yeah, I was able to get this brand new. It's actually, I had to crack open the seal on this. So I did actually, it was brand new when I got it. I had to open it, so that was really cool to get that. So yeah, 1991, kind of Guns N' Roses, Dangerous Toys kind of hard rock thing, kind of that sound, really cool stuff. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna. I have a little table here set up right in front of me, but it's not gonna quite fit. It's two side by side. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Next up, we got a weird one, Chambre Jaune here, and this is like a. I don't even know how to describe this. This is like very industrial, experimental punk music. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that because it's probably not going to interest a lot of people. I just get into some I try to not listen to the same stuff over and over. I try to get into some really weird stuff. So this is really weird. I will admit it does get almost a little weird for me at times, but hey, it's still cool to own. Like, it's not like I paid a fortune on this. It's like $5, something like that. So it was worth for me to check it out for that sort of thing. And yeah, just experimental, weird, industrial, experimental punk. Like there's some straightforward punk songs, but there's a lot of weird, industrial, experimental things going on there. Something different. Next up, we got a bunch of kind of heavy metal. Basically a ton of heavy metal and classic rock is basically what I have going on here. And we got 1984 German band TKO. I believe they're German. I didn't even write down if they're German. Yeah, I think they're German. 1984, and yeah, 1984. There is some heavy metal thing. It's kind of heavy metal, hard rock, heavy metal. And I wouldn't even call it glammy. It's just straight up good old heavy metal, basically. So yeah, good stuff, cool stuff. Yeah, 1984. This is their second album, and I don't even think they had an album after. I don't think so. I think they just had 2 albums and they were done. So if you do like your just good old straight up, no frills heavy metal, this is what's going on here with that. Next up is this one's really interesting. When you check out Discogs on Atom Gods, they label it like a heavy metal speed band, but I think they more or less are classifying that off their second album. This is their first album, so I got a bunch of things to say about this because it is really interesting. So the second album is more thrashy, speedy, because on the second album, Algie Ward joined the band. Algie Ward from Tank. So some of you might be familiar with the band Tank. Tank's a speed metal band. So I think naturally when Algie did join the band on bass for the second album, they just became much more heavy and speedy by nature, basically. But this first album, the lead front guy, the guy that started the band, he's like a UK guy, So this is like I'd say like most of the song structures are heavy metal esque in that sort of sense, but then a lot of the choruses have like these anthemic UK punk choruses, so it's very hard to describe. Even when I listen to it, I'm like, this is freaking hard to describe. Like, there is some heavy metal, like, guitar solos and guitar playing, but then the choruses are totally, like, anthemic Ramones type choruses, and yeah, so it's very weird thing to nail down. And the guy later started a band in the 90s. I forget the name of it, but if anyone's into it, you can kind of just go on Discogs and click on the guy's name and find out. Anyway, he did a later project with. There's rumor that some of the Motorhead guys were actually on some of the later project he started in the 90s, like a death metal, avant-garde death metal band. And I've been meaning to get that CD. It's really cool, but it's rumored that some of the Motorhead guys played on that album. So there's a lot of history going on with this band here. There's a lot of different stuff here. Mind you, a lot of the 80s bands do have all these, you know, connection, right, through 7 people, you know, the Kevin Bacon connection, right, where you can connect everybody through certain people. So that's just one of those things where, you know, Algie Ward, Tank, and then Motorhead guys, and the connections just keep going on forever and ever. Next up, we got, I've always wanted a Keel album. Everyone posts their Keel albums. You had a sticker on the there, but, you know, we're all prone to get these albums with stickers on them, right? Nothing you can do about it. It's what they did back in the 80s. They just stuck them right on the frickin' cover. Just mind-boggling. Whatever revolved in there. So anyway, I've always wanted a Keel album, and you know, as you guys know, I mainly collect CDs and things like that. So Keel is very difficult to get on CDs. So now when I started getting the vinyl, I'm like, hey, sweet, I can finally get a Keel album at a decent price. So Keel, Final Frontier, and yeah, Keel was in, I believe, Alcatraz. Anyway, I might be wrong on that. Anyway, you know, Keel was in, he was a singer, I believe Alcatraz, and then he stepped away and then started his own Keel band. But yeah, good stuff, obviously. I think most of you would be familiar with Keel. We got another here, classic rock band here, Victory. I think they are just a US band. What's the year on this? I think it's 88. I got a little cheat sheet here. Yeah, actually, no, sorry, this is 1987, and they are a German band. And I wouldn't really call them glammy. Some people might, but again, I think they're more of just a hard rock, heavy metal band. You know, they got the arena hard rock sound. You know, the big hooks, the big choruses, things like that. So, you know, some people might consider it glammy. It's not overly glammy. I don't think they have any songs that are talking about chicks or nothing like that. Ridiculous, right? Actually, it's really cool. I really like this, the actual quality of this. It's not glossy. It's like a paper kind of thing. It's really cool. I like the. Well, actually, you can kind of see the Victory part's actually kind of embossed. Like you can touch it and feel it, sort of thing. But I really like the feel on this. It's quite different. But anyway, I was going to show the very good condition this is, I must say. Like this mint, pretty much. But anyway. Some tracks like One Track Mind, Bigger Than Me, I'm a Survivor, Never Leave You, Tough on Love, okay, that's a little glammy, right? Hungry Hearts, You Run Away, but you know, it's not like glammy that's gonna put you off. It's not like throwing in your face. So you know, good standard 87 heavy metal. Oh man, I am super thrilled to show you guys this. Just much like Exodus, Impact is Imminent. I've always wanted this album, and I'm super happy to have it. Macong Deltas, the music of Eric Zahn, 1988. And if you're not familiar with Eric Zahn, Macong Delta, this is a very progressive, technical thrash band. Very progressive stuff going on here, like a lot of stuff going on like that. And what's even more unique about this is Peter P.V. Wagner from Rage actually plays on this, but they couldn't really reveal all their names because all the band members were tied to other record labels, and record labels was like, I own you, you can't be on this, you can't go and do this and this, so they just changed their names or didn't reveal who they actually were. So that's one of these type bands where they couldn't fully reveal who they were until, you know, the internet age came out and rumors and things like that. So it's fully aware of who was in the band now, but I think back then they tried to keep their identities hidden, so to speak. So yeah, Peter P.V. Wagner is singing on this, so if anyone is familiar with Rage, you know the kind of singing you're going to get, but very progressive thrash metal. Oh man, I love super awesome stuff. Pretty good condition for the age, you know, it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's a VG plus. It's a VG plus, and the record's a VG plus as well. So yeah, it's only trash metal. I'm super happy to have this. Oh man, super happy because again, that's one of those things very difficult to get on CD. So you can pretty well get the vinyl for the same price as the CD. So if you can get this vinyl for the same price as the CD, hey, I'm gonna get the vinyl. It's just bigger and everything. Really cool. We got a new wave kind of punk band here. You're all gonna be familiar with this. Blondie. Eat to the Beat. What year is this thing? It's 82. What did I write down on this? Blondie, 79. Sorry, it's actually 79. So I think this is their third album. So I would have preferred those first two albums, but hey, I still dig my Blondie once in a while. I spun this and it was much better than I originally had it in my head. I think I did, you know, last play Blondie or whatever a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, Eat to the Beat's not that great, but it is better than what I had in my head. So yeah, cool. Pumped to get some Blondie on vinyl. I actually have no Blondie on CD, so that's why when I was able to, you know, shop on Discogs and group a bunch of things together, it's like, oh, I can get a Blondie for $5-10. Cool, let's just add that on too. So that's one of those things, just add it on. That's cool. This one's going to be very different. You're all going to be scratching your head on this one. We got a Canadian band, Goddo. I think the year on this is 79, so we got some other 70s stuff, although I didn't think it was 79, but 79, and it is unfortunate they say used play copy on there, but again, this is one of those things where I placed a big order, and this would have been $5, so it's not like setting me back a ton or nothing like that, but this one is another weird one. It's really hard to describe. It is hard rock, but there's some prog rock thing going on there, like some keyboardy prog rock going on mixed with some hard rock. Yeah, so that's where we're headed with that sort of thing. Canadian band. Yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, just say 79 in the back, but yeah. You know, obviously I don't like that marker right on the cover, but it is what it is. You know, for $5, I'm not just gonna I'm not gonna complain or nothing like that. Next up, we got another classic hard and heavy band, 1977. So this is Moxie, 1977. Another Canadian band. I think this, and Moxie was around for a while. They had, I think this is their second or third album, and then they just kept putting out more albums after. So they do have a fairly big discography, and this is quite interesting actually. For 1977, this is very hard and heavy. Like there is touches of heavy metal, again, not like 80s metal, like when the 80s metal boom came in, but for 77, it is very hard and heavy. I did like that term when I was thinking of how to describe them. Like they're hard and heavy. They're hard rock, light heavy metal. That, you know, again for 77, it's that pre-metal boom. So for 77, they were rocking. There's some heavy stuff mixed with that classical kind of guitar solos, guitar work. So yeah, cool stuff on that. Canadian band. Anything interesting to show on the back? I don't think so. Just for band shots or whatever. Yeah, Moxie 77, and oh man, I really got to pump this album up here. Shaken Street from 1980. This is a French band from 1980, so they are French, but they sing in English. So the singer here, female fronted, as you can see, Fabian. I forget her last name, Fabian something. Anyway, after I heard this, I started obsessing about like anything about this band or anything to do with the singer that I went and checked on. I was like, what else has this singer been involved in? I want to hear more of this girl. This album is amazing. Rockin'. There's no ballads on this. There's no bullshit. This is 10 tracks of pure rock and roll, hard rock. Like this album impressed me. When this showed up and I played it in full for the first time, I was so impressed. I was on my messages and telling everyone, I was like, man, this album is rock, you gotta hear it. oh, this album is super impressive, especially for 1980. It's heavy stuff for 1980 too. And oh yeah, I really like this back shot here. This just touching this stop sign here. That's really cool. I like that one. So yeah, man. If you guys can get your hands on this, please do, or just give it a preview on YouTube. But get it. This is for 1980. This is a fucking amazing album. One of the probably better albums out of this whole stack I'm about to show you. I love that album. This album is awesome. Hard rock, just kick ass, balls to the wall rock, man. And obviously, if you're a sucker for female fronted, man, she sounds great too, right? Next up, this is really obscure. So we got Psy, a Canadian speed metal band. This ain't no fucking around here. I'm serious. This is speed metal. Very obscure speed metal band. I'm not really sure. Like, I watch a lot of you like metalhead collection updates and things like that, and I've never seen anyone show this. Why? I don't know, because I know you guys dig very deep with your obscure thrash and speed metal. So this is a full-on speed metal album. This was, you know, it's crazy. The seller sent this to me, and it was brand new wrapped from 1987. It's been wrapped, hidden in the guy's store or wherever for 35 years or whatever like that, 34 years. It's been wrapped for 34 years, so I didn't want to unwrap it, but I had to do it. But so we got a brand new mint wrapped sealed side 1986 speed metal. There was some connections on here, but I forgot the connections. Yeah, I do forget the connection that was going on with some of the band members. I might be getting confused with something else, but anyway, cool stuff. I do want to get, they have 2 albums, and I want to get the other one too, so it's just a matter of time before I can get my hands on the other one. And yeah, all out speed metal there. So if you guys don't know that band and you are into all the obscure stuff, you're slipping, check that out. Maybe because they're Canadian, so maybe they just went totally underneath the radar, so that does have a big part to do with it. And hey, I'm a huge Brian Setzer Stray Cats fan, and when I had a chance to get a Stray Cats album bundled up with some other albums here cheap, I was like, hey, I actually don't own Rant and Rave, so if I can get it on vinyl, hey, that's just cool stuff. That's a bonus. So it does have some writing on there. Not a super huge turn off on this for the kid. Not too bad. I got Allie's old record. Looks like the pen says Allie. So Allie, if you're watching, shout out to Allie. I got your record. It's in good hands. I promise. You know, you got it in the sleeve. It's in good hands, right? But yeah, no, my Brian Setzer Stray Cats collection on CD is just massive. I got like almost every Brian Setzer solo album. I got a bunch of Stray Cats, and I oddly didn't have this Stray Cats, so it's a Stray Cats third album. And if you don't know who Stray Cats is, you're living under a rock. They're kind of modernized rockabilly and kind of you know, obviously rockabilly was around before Stray Cats, but it was very slow and bluesy and kind of Brian added some rock to it and kind of upbeated it a bit. So yeah, I love my Stray Cats, so cool to get that on vinyl. This one's very obscure. I mean, not obscure, but this one's very different. I actually played on a CD update, but I was playing with my audio settings and it mumbled the background, so I was playing up some settings and it hears much better now. So anyway, you couldn't hear it on the last collection update anyway. But Assassin's God, this is a very experimental. Actually, I looked on Discogs and they're calling it avant-garde experimental crossover thrash. So yeah, basically what I want to say is very experimental avant-garde crossover thrash. I find this cool stuff. It's much more interesting than that Chambre Jaune album. There's no industrial going on here. It's just very experimental, right? A lot of weird, different stuff going on here. Yeah, really cool stuff. Assassins, this is their first album, 1989, and I would like to get their second album. I had planned on getting that, but yeah, I don't know if there's anything interesting to show on the back of this. It's got one of these flat plastic covers on this one, so that's why I'm feeling the wrapping off of. Yeah, no, nothing interesting really showing the back here. There's Bonds and Records. Germany in 1989. Yeah, just different stuff. You know, sometimes you know we all like to play different stuff, right? You know, I'm just gonna play thrash 24/7. I'm just gonna play speed metal 24/7. I'm just gonna play whatever 24/7. So I look for different stuff, and when I see an experimental punk crossover thrash, I'm like, what's going on here? That interests me, right? And last one of the thing is this one's really cool. We got Sign's second album, obviously, Sign 2, and I can describe this very easily. It's very cool. When I was listening to it, I'm like, there's total Kiss and Van Halen vibes all over this thing. So I'd say the music is kind of 80s Kissy, you know, that 80s metal Kiss wave that they were doing, right? Animalize, Lick It Up, things like that. But then the choruses are very Van Halen-y, like the background vocals and the background thing. It's very Van Halen-y. So if you could just imagine Kiss and Van Halen had a baby, this is Sign. So this is they are a German band, I believe. I covered in my paper, but that with my writing on it, my little notes. But I believe they are a German band, so they did go under the radar because there was just so much heavy metal going on in the 80s that tons of bands went underneath the radar, as you know. But yeah, if you can find this, I'd say get it. It is really cool. It's a fun album, hard rock, heavy metal. Yeah, it is straight up heavy metal, and it's funny they just say on the back here. I like this one. I don't know if it'll show. Oh yeah, it does show here. No synthesizers, no fade outs, no bullshit. Right, they're just full on rock. So they were very sure to mention that, right? No synthesizers, no fade outs, just a full on balls, hard and heavy album. And yeah, I just want to listen to it. It's like, this is so Van Halen, Kissy type stuff. So yeah, I like both those bands. So I was like, hey, it's a no-brainer that I'd like this one, right? But yeah, cool stuff. This one's in pretty good shape too. Yeah, this one's in pretty decent shape. I didn't want to. I also have a fold-over cover on this, so I didn't even bother taking it out. But yeah, cool stuff. 1988. I haven't even heard their first album actually, so I would like to hear that and maybe probably get that as well. But there we go. We got my vinyl collection update, and thanks for checking it out. Subscribe, mosh. See you later. Oh, I didn't even hit stop.